Hello everyone, and welcome to Damien's Reviews. Tonight, it's not a review, it is a head-to-head. Tonight we are comparing Still Reserve 211 High Gravity Lager 8.1% versus the Still Reserve 211 Triple Export 8.1%. Alright, so I've already cracked the tops, I'm letting them warm. So that way we can get a much better comparison of the two beers, because if you drink these dead cold, they're going to be kind of boring and dull and they're not really going to have a lot of flavor. Now when these warm a little bit, that's when their aromas and their flavor characteristics really come out and shine through. So let's go ahead and talk about the Still Reserve 211 High Gravity Lager 8.1%. Alright, this came out in the year 1998 by Mackenzie River Corporation of San Francisco, California. They are most notorious for making the other high-gravity malt liquor that is somewhat famous out there, St. Ides high-gravity malt liquor. So this is 8.1% alcohol by volume, 222 calories. The ingredients are water, barley malt, corn syrup, yeast, and hop extract. So yeah, there we go with this one. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the 211 Triple Export. This came out in 2005 when Miller Coors acquired the Still Reserve brand, and they decided to add to the line by making this. It has the exact same specifications, 8.1% alcohol by volume. It is 222 calories as well, same ingredients, water, barley malt, corn syrup, yeast, and hop extract. So the Still Reserve 211 High Gravity Lager, the silver can, just about anywhere beer is sold, you're going to see this. This, you may or you may not see it. It's not as readily available as compared to other beers. This one seems to be all over western North Carolina, which is the closest to me since I live in northeast Tennessee. So, yes, I've cracked the tops. I'm letting them warm. So let's just go ahead and dive in and see what the two have to offer. But seniority is going to take precedent here. So first, we're going to start off with the 211 silver can. Yes, you get a lot of malt sweetness up front. You also get a lot of corniness and graininess as a transition flavor from the front of the taste to the middle of the taste. Then in the middle of the taste, get a nice amount of breadiness, some white bread crust, and there is a fair amount of hop bitterness in the end. It's primarily just there for balancing, but is there nonetheless. It does finish somewhat smooth, and it is a little rough, a little gritty, a little harsh if you're not used to it. And the body and mouthfeel are medium to heavy. I would lean more towards heavy. So in terms of how it balances this beer, not really. So I would definitely say on the Cyclops scale, this is definitely 5 out of 5 sugar cubes in terms of malt sweetness. On the hop cone scale, I would say at most, maybe 2. Probably more like 1.5, but maybe 2. Now, what makes this a little gritty, a little rough, a little harsh is, it's not as well balanced. It is more sweetness and grain oriented, but there is an undertaste of alcohol with this. It's like a smooth burn, like you'd get with like a vodka or a rum, bourbon, whiskey, what have you. So, yeah. I mean, for what it is, it's definitely an excellent representation of the style. High gravity malt liquor. So, I like it. It's my go-to. But this is everywhere. And that's another factor why I rate it as high as I do. This is definitely a 100 out of 100. Excellent representation of the style. Now, there are some complaints. Could it be not as rough and gritty as Harsh and more balanced? Yes. But, they seem to know what they're doing. People like it the way that it is, so, oh well, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So yes, Still Reserve 211 High Gravity Lager Silver Can. Now, the Still Reserve 211 Triple Export in the black can. So, I've done a formal review of this one, to where you can see what the color is, what type of head it produces, and what the beer looks like. For this one, I decided just to do it out of the can. There will be a head-to-head out of the mug later. Let's just go ahead and get it out there, because I've not seen this done in any video review that I've seen. So guess what? It's the first one in the world. Yay. So let me go ahead and wash my taste palette with some water. There we go. Now, we're going to go ahead and dive into the 211 Triple Export. Right off the bat, there is definitely a difference in terms of the overall flavor profile. So, with this one, when it presents itself to your taste palate, it's not rough, it's not gritty, it's not harsh. It's actually very smooth and well balanced. So, up front, you do get a lot of malt sweetness, but not as much as the 211 Silver Can. But it is there. Now, you also get a little bit of corniness and a little bit of graininess. Now, it's not as prevalent as it is in the 211 Silver Can. So, when you get that as the transitionary flavor, it just kind of blends in. It just goes with the flow and it doesn't try to stand out in any way. So when you get to the middle of the taste, you definitely do get a pretty good amount of breadiness, white bread crust, and in the end of the taste, there's definitely more hop bitterness for balancing. You can definitely tell with this one, they want to see, okay, we're going to take the same overall flavor profile, but we're going to make it in a way that is much more smooth, much more balanced and well-rounded for those who still want to drink an 8.1% high-gravity malt liquor, for they want a good drinking experience. And that's what they've done here with this one. And they've done a superb job. They've hit the nail on the head perfectly. So with this one, it finishes very crisp, finishes very clean, and even somewhat refreshing. I'm actually shocked. So the body and the mouthfeel, yeah, granted, it's not as rich, thick, and as full-bodied as the 211 Silver Can, but you still know you're drinking a very macho, manly sort of beer. So the body and mouthfeel, I would lean more towards medium on this one. Some people maybe argue heavy, but I would lean more towards medium. It is robust, and it does have a rich flavor, but the 211 Silver Can has more body and more flavor. Just this may not have as much flavor, but this has a much better overall flavor and a much better presentation. And there is zero booziness with this one. So, yes. This one, I definitely got to give 100 out of 100 for the high gravity malt liquor style. It fits the bill perfectly, does the job every time, but I wish this one was much more prevalent and much more common. Because, granted, yes, I love the Still Reserve 211 Silver Can, but sometimes I'm just not in the mood for something that's rough, gritty, and harsh, but I still want the 8.1%. And that's where this one comes in and fits that bill perfectly. So, in terms of how malty it is and how bitter it is, on the Cyclops scale, I would say this one is like, I would say this one's more like a 4 out of 5 sugar cubes and maybe 2.5 to 3 out of hop cones, maybe on the Cyclops scale. So, yes, much more well balanced with this one. So, yes, 100 out of 100 and 100 out of 100. Both are excellent beers. They do the job just fine. I just wish this one was more prevalent. So, Miller Coors, I'm looking at you. Please distribute this more. I think in more markets, this would do excellent. I don't think it would cannibalize this, but I think you would still make a decent amount of sales selling the two in the same market. But that's just me, though. So, yes, there's my head to head challenge of the Still Reserve 211 High Gravity Lagers in what they have to offer, how they taste, which is better. I arguably say the 211 Triple Export is better, but yet the silver can works just fine. So I hope you all enjoyed this head to head. There will be another head to head of these two later on, where we pour them into the mug so you can even see, if there's even a color difference in terms of how the two look. I've done a formal review of this one, as I previously said. This one I have not, but trust me, it will be coming. So, I really hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, you all have an excellent one, and cheers. Oh, yeah, don't take a sip of one and then take a sip of the other and combine the two. It just, that doesn't work.